Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a windy New York.
Talk to me like you talk to them. Let me hear it in an 8 by 10. Spell it out in monochrome. Things I never would have known. Please, Miss Betty. Oh, Miss Betty, please. Please, Miss Betty. Oh, Miss Betty, please. Please, Miss Betty. Miss Betty, please. Oh, yeah.
We have Betty Page trading cards.
Oh, great.
That we got. We also have a poster in the back.
Poster, yeah, we saw it just a minute ago. What about these? What's this? Is this also something on Betty Page?
Yeah, it's like the Vargas style.
Yeah. Is it nice? Or?
Yeah, they're nice. I mean, it's like for Christmas and stuff.
Christmas card.
Yeah.
Right. Is this very popular?
Yeah, you could. I mean, she's like a cult following. You know, we have people come in specifically just for this. You know, for the poster. And
Do you think she's still alive? Any news on that?
I don't think she is.
No?
She is. She's old.
You don't know how I get in contact with her?
I don't know. There's probably there used to be an address in one of these, like a Betty Page
Oh, yeah?
fan club for a Betty Page fan letter.
All right, we look further to find Betty Page. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Around 1987, my pal Joan Andurko and I were looking at his pictures of Betty Page, and she'd become very popular by way of Dave Stevens' Rocketeer strip. Very popular. And it was funny because nobody had published a photograph of Betty until we did in Betty Page's one. Even if she couldn't be recognized in her own time, the public would finally catch up with Betty and recognize her for being the top pinup model of the world, and not in a negative sense, like she was probably perceived in the 1950s.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of the world finally got hip enough to enjoy Betty Page. I think at first she thought that she was infamous, that the public remembered her as a bad girl, that there was somehow, I won't say something to be embarrassed about, but she was just regretted the idea that the public thought of her in some kind of a bad light. And I think finally with her coming into contact with all of this cult status and knowing how much people really care about her and really appreciate her work, I think that she's maybe had a turnaround in her opinion of herself even, which would be terrific, you know, to if this woman all this time has thought that her work was a failure, and suddenly the world adores her for what she did, you know, that might be enough to turn her you know, her whole feeling about what she did with her life around. Maybe it wasn't a waste.
You also make paintings yourself, like this one.
Right.
You're a painter yourself, or an artist.
Yeah, you know, that was my first calling. I painted paperback covers for about 10 to 12 years before I got into publishing. Well, this is a version of an old movie magazine cover.
Is it?
That I loved a great deal, by Enoch Bowles. It's from everything but this is by Enoch Bowles. She's a blonde with her head back and she's kissing the beak. And it's just such a beautiful painting, a beautiful image. I said, oh, we'll put Betty's head on it. Then I'll have the painting. I'll have a big painting of this figure, this bird that I liked a lot.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And then a pinup collector offered to trade me for an Earl Moran, and I traded the painting away. So now I don't have the painting that I painted on.
So these photos are never published before, I think?
No, these were from a boyfriend who had taken some private bedroom sessions with her, and they really never were intended for publication, but it's all he had left is thousands of pictures he took of Betty, and he very kindly allowed me to have a set.
they look quite different. They look more real or something. They have something
Yeah, well,
different
the
about
guy
them.
was not a professional photographer, obviously, so it has a very amateur quality, which gives it a realism. You know?
What years was it?
That's probably 56 or 7. It's very late.
You think this is after Irving Claw or during that period?
At the very tail end, she left Manhattan in December of 57. This is probably 1956. In fact, it is 1956.
Yeah, I see a few of them are published before. So what
Yes,
happened
in
with them?
Private Peaks, the man who took them was very upset when he saw the photos reproduced. Largely because he'd never given them permission, and he didn't have any photo releases to legally allow them to be published. So this is the only glimpse you'll ever get of him.
Hello, Paula.
Hello.
We're nice to meet you finally.
Right. My pleasure.
We're coming here because we're on the search to Bettie Page, and we hope to find her through you, maybe. And we wonder if you know what happened to her after the 60s.
Well, I know she's alive and well and living in California in a semi-retirement home. And she's happy and well and wants to be left alone.
You think really? Because why did she appear on the television?
Only her voice.
Only her voice.
Only her voice. She's not happy the way she looks. She got a little older and she got a little heavier. And she doesn't look like she did in the 60s, but none of us do. She should. She should show herself. I tried writing to her and trying to tell her to come out. She hasn't answered. I'm so glad I kept her face and her name and everything alive all these years because I thought she deserved it.
Especially the bondage, was that the new thing on that moment,
That-
or was that
no.
also earlier?
That was it.
Business.
That was no. It was in the 50s.
Because now it seems more funny, you know?
Right. Yeah. But there was, there's that clan. There's that fetish. Fetish clan of men that wanted rubber or leather, bondage, fighting, spanking. It's a big fetish clan. And we supplied. We had very good customers, good executives, Washington.
Like that Madonna is like the erotic thing of this moment. Do you think it's something like Bettie Page was in the 50s?
I think Madonna is emulating Bettie Page, yes. I don't consider it erotic, not at all. But she is copying Bettie Page, no question about it, with the leather straps and the leather bras and the garter belts, and absolutely.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Paula.
my pleasure.
Is it nice?
Okay, there we go. A little fatter, a little older, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Betty, hey. Hey, Miss Betty, hey. Hey, Miss Betty, hey.